Thinking of growing your own Mexican guava tree? Today in this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to grow it in Zone 9. This is a great tree to grow in warm climate areas. So I hope you stick around with me today. My name is Ellie and welcome to the Latina Garden. So what is a guayaba? A guayaba is called Pisidium guajava. It is a fruit that is native to Mexico, Central America, and South America. It can be grown as a small tree or a shrub, and it is rich in vitamin C, fiber, and antioxidants. So this tree I have been growing for the last maybe 3.5 years now. It's gotten quite big. It hasn't fruited yet, but I am hoping by next year it should start giving me some fruit. It is something that I started growing as a little twig that I got off of Amazon. It's supposed to be a traditional Mexican guayaba, which is a yellow skin with a cream color center. Because I started this as a very small twig, it can take up to 4 years for your guayaba tree to fruit. You can get a guayaba tree that's a lot more mature from nurseries, which I would recommend, is because those will give you fruit a lot sooner. But this was an investment for me. I wasn't sure if it was something that would be able to grow in my zone. So I am very excited to see how it's grown through the years. So there are so many ways you can have a guayaba. You can eat it raw, right off the tree. That is my favorite way to have it. You can also have it as candy. This is one of my favorite candies that I like to get. My parents bring it back for me from Mexico every year during December when they go and visit. But this is called Arroyo de Guayaba, and it's kind of like a fruit roll-up. And it is coated in some sugar. But you can see it's kind of like a fruit roll-up that's just rolled, and just kind of take a bite out of it. It is pretty sweet, but it's very delicious. It has a very strong guayaba flavor, which is why I love it so much. Another one of my favorite ways to have a guayaba would be in ponche. Ponche is like a fruit punch drink. It is very traditional in Mexican cooking, especially during the holiday season. And it has guayabas, it has sugar canes, it has apple slices, and sometimes we put dried prunes in it. So it has a lot of different fruits, along with a few cinnamon sticks. So this is one of my favorite drinks to have during the holidays. It reminds me of Mexico because that's when we used to visit all the time as kids. Growing up, it would take us about 3 days of travel time. And we would go every winter season during our Christmas break. And I just remember the moment we crossed over the border, my parents would always go to the local market and they would stop by and get some guayabas, and that would be the first thing I eat when I was in Mexico, is some guayabas. Back then, it wasn't a fruit that was seen in the United States. The only time I would have that fruit is when we would visit Mexico. It was actually illegal to bring the fruit or any part of it to the States. I'm not sure why, I just know that it was illegal at that time. Since then, it is legal now to have them in the States. We find them all the time in our local Mexican markets. My kids absolutely love them. They have yet to visit Mexico, so it's something nice that I can introduce to them, and it makes me so happy that they like it because I feel that it ties into my culture and our heritage and something that I can give them that reminds me of Mexico, and hopefully it will get them interested in one day visiting. The best varieties of the guayaba tree would be a tropical guayaba, which is the Psidium guajava. It grows well in zone 9 with protection from frost. Recommended varieties would be the Mexican cream, which is the tropical white. It is sweet, creamy flavor. You can do the Ruby Supreme, which is a red flesh, juicy, great for fresh eating. The Barbie Pink, which is compact, flavorful, easy to grow in containers. Or you can consider a dwarf variety for pots or small spaces. For planting tips, you want to make sure that your location has full sun. This tree needs about 6 to 8 hours of sunlight. You want to have it in a well-draining soil, something loomy. Avoid heavy clay. In my area garden, we are very heavy in clay, so this is why I decided not to plant mine in the ground. Originally, I had thought about planting it more closer to our fence, but because my soil here is very hard, very clay, it's not the best, I decided to pot it in a large pot. So I have slowly through the years, I've kind of upscaled it, upsized it would be lack of a better word. But I've had it in smaller containers when it was first a little like this big of a stick growing into something bigger, and then now I have it in a big pot. You want to mix with compost before planting. You want to make sure that your soil is slightly acidic. This tree prefers to be around 5.5 to 7 for pH levels. You want to make sure you're planting in early spring after your last frost date, or you can also plant them in the fall. For planting in containers, you want to make sure that you use a 15 to 25 gallon pot. And you also want to make sure that it has really good drainage.
In my wheelbarrow, I have mixed organic potting mix. I also added some cactus / citrus potting mix, and I also added some pumice to help with the drainage. For watering and fertilizing, you want to make sure you water deeply once a week or more during dry spells. You want to avoid soggy roots. Mulch will help retain the moisture. As far as fertilizing, you want to use a balanced organic 10-10-10 or a citrus fruit tree fertilizer. You can apply the fertilizer about 3 times a year in the spring, early summer, or early fall. And guavas, they like magnesium, so you can also add Epsom salt once a season. For pruning and pests, you want to prune in late winter, early spring to shape and improve the airflow of your tree. You can remove crossing branches and suckers. You want to watch out for aphids, fruit flies, and whiteflies. You can use neem oil or insecticidal soap to treat these. Diseases that can occur is the anthracnose, which can be preventable with good spacing and if you avoid wetting the leaves. When and how to harvest. Guava fruits can take anywhere between 2 to 4 years if you're growing it from seed, or if you've grafted it, it can take 1 to 2 years. I started mine from a cutting, so I'm thinking it's taking about 4 years for it to fruit. You want to harvest it when the fruit is fragrant and slightly soft. The color changes depending on the variety. It can be from green to yellow or even a reddish blush. You want to pick gently, store at room temperature, or you can refrigerate. As a bonus tip, guava leaves can be used as a tea, and this will help with digestion. You can save your seeds to propagate or to grow more plants. This would be an ideal plant for an edible landscape and for pollinator-friendly garden. If you're in Zone 9, guayaba is a beautiful, delicious fruit to grow with your family. I hope you try it if you see it in your local garden center. As always, like, subscribe, and comment with your favorite guayaba story, or if you have any guayaba recipes, please let me know. As always, Sow love, grow joy, and stay rooted. Until next time, bye friends.